Well, the college football championship game's buck stops on this man's desk, and neither he nor the desk are strangers to Indianapolis. Bill Benner has more in this week's Inside Indiana Sports. Bill.
Gary, thanks. From humble beginnings in Oklahoma to orchestrating college football's biggest game has been quite the journey for the CFP's executive director. And it's safe to say that Monday night's battle between Alabama and Georgia might not be in Indy without the positive experiences that Bill Hancock had previously had here. And we're honored to have the CFP executive director, Bill Hancock, join us. Sir, welcome. Good to see you.
Well, good to see you, Bill. And as I like to say to my friends around here, I'm just happy to be back home again in Indiana.
Well, and we're happy to have you back home again in Indiana. You were here for a while working with the NCAA and orchestrating the Final Four. Before we look forward to this weekend, Bill, let's look back to the decision 4 years ago to bring this game to Indianapolis. It's always been in warm weather locales. Kind of what was the thinking about that in general and Indianapolis in particular?
You know, Bill, college football is a national game. It belongs to everybody. The championship should belong to everybody. And we made a conscious decision to go to a city in the quote unquote northern tier. Actually, our philosophy was 10 in 10. That being the first 10 years of the CFP championship game would be in 10 different cities. And when we look north, Indianapolis was a natural.
And of course, your experience here previously with the NCAA, with numerous Final Fours that took place in Indianapolis, and then you finally lived in the city for 3 years. Obviously, you've got good vibes, and you know the landscape.
Yeah, I do. How about this? We've had 8 Final Fours here, men's Final Fours here in Indianapolis, and I've been able to attend all 8 of them. I think you have too, but there are not many of us who can say that. And I've seen what this city can do through all those years. I think it's 40 some years now since that first one in Market Square. Seen the changes in the city, but one thing has been constant, and it is the legendary Hoosier hospitality. And we're going to experience it again this weekend with a CFP championship.
Well, and without question, the volunteers force, great local staff on hand, led by Susan Boffman. Bill, again, you're working with people that you know personally and have had great experiences with.
Yeah, it's a matter of trust. You know, I trust Susan, I trust Mark Howell, I trust Eric and all the people at the stadium. They know what they're doing. You gain that trust by having worked with people through the years, but also by knowing that they've administered many successful top tier events. All the Final Fours, the Super Bowl, we know. We just have a great relationship, and the city has some obligations for this event, and they have more than fulfilled their obligations.
Bill, talk about, we received some criticism earlier in the week from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution about the weather and concerns about that. But again, this is a very compact campus that's been laid out downtown in Indianapolis. And I think people, as they arrive, will find out that it's convenient and they can stay mostly inside as they enjoy the activities.
I accused an Indianapolis friend of planting that story in Atlanta because, you know, we all bowed our necks and reared up and said, you're wrong about that. I don't know the columnist who wrote the story, you might, but it let us throw a couple of barbs back and forth. And that reminded me of the governors making bets on the game. You know, I'll give you a side of beef and you give me a passel full of corn or whatever. So that was a lot of fun. We did have a great event in Atlanta. Atlanta's a great city. We had terrible weather there, and it was cold and rainy, and we had a presidential visit that caused a lot of trouble. So yeah, all the cities where we've been have been great, including Indianapolis.
And Bill, as we wrap up, there has been talk about expansion beyond the Power Five, and Cincinnati was a welcome addition this year to the 4 teams in the semifinals. But again, potential talk about expanding from 4 teams to as many as maybe 12.
Yeah, we had appointed a committee to work on a proposal to change the format. We have a 12-year contract for this format. And this committee was looking primarily at what to do in year 13 and came up with a proposal that we sent folks out to the campuses to talk to presidents, coaches, ADs, and student athletes about the recommendation to go to 12 last June. And folks have been talking about it ever since then. And I don't know how it will come out. I'm not a betting man. I don't handicap things. But it has been a robust discussion. And a lot of people feel like expanding to 12 would be what's best for college football. We'll just have to see how it comes out.
Well, Bill Hancock, Executive Director of the College Football Playoff, it is wonderful to see you back home again in Indiana. We wish you nothing but the best for a great and successful event this weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate you doing this, and we'll see you this